The moment your paycheck hits your bank account, you have exactly 15 seconds before your brain starts making terrible financial decisions. I'm not kidding. 15 seconds is all it takes for most people to mentally spend money they haven't even seen yet. Your brain starts calculating how much you can blow on that new gadget, or whether you can finally afford those shoes that have been sitting in your online shopping cart since last Tuesday. But what if I told you that there is a specific dollar amount where keeping any more than that in a standard bank account is actually a massive mistake? Most people treat their paycheck like a surprise birthday gift instead of the powerful wealth-building tool it actually is. They're basically financial sleepwalkers stumbling through life, wondering why they never have anything left over at the end of the month. My name is Zenvest, and I've spent years helping people figure out what to do with their money the moment it shows up in their accounts. Today, I want to talk about the boring bank account trap and why everything in your life changes once you stop keeping too much cash in the bank and start following a system. Picture this scenario. You're lying awake at 3 in the morning, staring at the ceiling, and your mind is racing through every possible financial disaster. Your car could break down, your laptop might die, or you could lose your job. This is the reality for millions of people living paycheck to paycheck, where every unexpected expense feels like a potential catastrophe. But there is actual psychology behind why certain amounts of money create dramatic shifts in your day-to-day existence. The first real game changer isn't $1 million. It's $10,000. When you have zero savings, every decision feels dangerous. Moving to a different city or taking a new job becomes a massive source of stress because one wrong move could leave you devastated. But when you have $10,000 sitting in your account, suddenly these same decisions feel manageable. Neuroscientists have even found that financial security reduces cortisol levels, your body's primary stress hormone. Reaching $10,000 doesn't just change your finances. It literally changes how your body responds to daily challenges. That check engine light on your dashboard. If you're broke, it's a countdown to disaster. If you have $10,000, it's just a mild annoyance. But here is where it gets really interesting. There is a much bigger threshold that separates people who stay stuck from those who build real wealth. And that number is $20,000. Think of it like pushing a heavy boulder up a hill. Getting it started is the hardest part. You're straining and making very little progress. But once you hit $20,000, you've reached the top of the hill, and the boulder starts rolling down the other side almost effortlessly. $20,000 gives you what I call walking away money. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're essentially trapped in whatever job you have. Your boss could be terrible, or the work could be mind-numbing, but you can't leave because you need that next check to survive. But with $20,000, you could quit tomorrow and survive for months while you find something better. You're negotiating from a position of strength instead of desperation. Just having it changes your entire demeanor. At work, you become more confident and assertive, and people notice. So, if $10,000 is great and $20,000 is a superpower, why is it a huge mistake to keep more than that in the bank? Because once you've established your emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of living expenses, every extra dollar sitting in a boring savings account is actually losing value. You're not trying to get rich off your emergency fund. You're trying to stay stable. But if you keep $50,000 or $100,000 in a standard account, you're committing wealth destruction. Let's look at the math that most people ignore. If you took an extra $2,000 a month and put it into a basic S&P 500 index fund, earning an 8% return, in 20 years, you'd have $1.17 million. The majority of that wealth, nearly $700,000, comes from compound interest, not your own work. When you keep too much cash in a bank account that pays 0.01% interest, you are essentially firing your money from its job. You're working hard for your money, but your money isn't working for you. Let's talk about a character we'll call Zen to see how this plays out in the real world. Zenvest is a dual-income household. pulling in $160,000 a year. On paper, they're upper middle class. But Zenvest is house poor because they bought a $500,000 home without understanding the brutal math. After taxes, insurance, and that monster mortgage, they're spending nearly 46% of their take-home pay just on housing, because Zenvest didn't have a system. They're also trapped in the car payment trap. They're paying $800 a month for a truck that's depreciating every single day. Over 7 years, they'll spend $130,000 on that truck for the privilege of owning something worth maybe $15,000 at the end. They are essentially running on a financial hamster wheel, where the faster they run, the further behind they get. Every financial decision Zenvest makes, every career move, every vacation is filtered through one silent, terrifying question. Can we still cover the mortgage? Asterisk, if you don't want to be like Zenvest, you need to follow the smartest order to invest your money. Most people do this backwards. They buy the shiny car and the big house first, then try to save what's left. Spoiler alert, there's never anything left here. Is the exact sequence you should follow. The starter emergency fund. Save your first $1,000 to $2,000 as fast as possible. This is your psychological safety net, so you don't have to sell investments if your water heater explodes. The employer match. This is free money. If your boss offers to double your money and you say no, you've lost your mind. It's a guaranteed 100% return. On day one, kill the high-interest debt. Credit card debt is financial cancer. At 22% interest, it's growing faster than any investment you can find. Paying it off is like getting a guaranteed 22% return on your money. The full emergency fund. Build that $10,000 to $20,000 cushion. Put it in a high-yield savings account that's liquid and boring, and then leave it alone. Tax-advantaged accounts. This is where you maximize your IRA and HSA. The HSA is the Swiss Army knife of finance because it's triple tax-advantaged. Tax deduction on the way in, tax-free growth, and tax-free withdrawals for medical stuff. Max out the 401k. After you've done the rest, go back and shelter as much as you can from the IRS. The taxable brokerage account. Only after you've filled all these other buckets do you keep your extra money here. This is where you build the wealth that lets you retire early. Visual, text on screen, the power of automation. The final step that separates the wealthy from the talkers is automation. Willpower is like a muscle that gets tired. By Thursday evening, you're tired and stressed, and you'll tell yourself you'll save next week. Automation removes human emotion and laziness from the equation. When my paycheck hits, I let it sit for one day just to make sure everything clears. Then, the day after, automatic transfers happen like clockwork. Money moves to my savings, my investments, and my goals, without me ever having to lift a finger. I never have to fight the temptation to spend money that belongs to my future self. Most people get a raise and keep saving the same amount while their lifestyle creeps up. Successful people automate their increases so their wealth grows faster than their shoe collection. Asterisk. So, why does your life change so much after you stop overstuffing your bank account and start investing? Because you stop being a financial sleepwalker. When Zenvest finally pays off that mortgage, they don't just lose a bill, they lose a prison sentence they didn't even realize they were serving. Eliminating a mortgage payment frees up thousands of dollars a month, but more importantly, it reduces your survival number. If you need $24,000 less a year to survive, your financial independence number drops by $600,000. You haven't earned more money, but you've changed what survival costs. Suddenly, you can take a riskier job, start a business, or work fewer hours, because the bank doesn't own your time anymore. Asterisk. Here's the truth that real estate agents and car dealers won't tell you. There is no prize for buying a house you can't afford. There is no trophy for having a $1,200 car payment. The stress of barely making those payments will erase any pride you felt the day you got the keys. Real wealth isn't about the balance in your checking account or the chrome on your truck. Wealth is freedom. It's the ability to sleep at night without anxiety about how you'll cover next month. If you're sitting there right now with $50,000 in a savings account, earning nothing, while carrying a car loan or a massive mortgage, you are essentially paying the bank to stay stressed. Stop looking at what the bank says you qualify for and start looking at what you can actually afford while still building wealth. The system is designed to keep you in the house, in the car, and in the debt cycle. But you can choose not to play that game. You can choose to keep only what you need in the bank for emergencies and put the rest to work so that one day you're the one who can wake up on a Tuesday and decide to take the week off just because you feel like it. If you want to stop being a statistic in someone else's video about the foreclosure crisis and start building a life with actual margin, hit that subscribe button. Start treating your money like a tool. Automate everything. And in 5 years, you'll be laughing at how simple it actually was, while everyone else is still wondering where their money disappeared to. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.